These days, I don't think a single person in all of media has as much influence as Joe Rogan. Dude's the epitome of a modern day Renaissance man. He's smart, principled, open-minded, funny as shit, athletic as hell, can tear your head off if you've ever seen some of his training footage, and an absolute beast when it comes to working out. It's no wonder people are interested in attempting to do the same things that he's done to cultivate at least a fraction of the gains that he's achieved in the gym. So what I'm gonna do today is take you through the workout regimen he uses that I pieced together based on a compilation of interviews he's offered up and give my honest opinion on each phase of it. All right, let's start with what he mentions he does as his warm-up. To kick things off, he mentions getting the juices flowing with 100 reps of a bodyweight push-up and bodyweight squat. Now, I'm not going to bore you by doing all these on camera, so let me just give you my honest opinion about them overlaid with some of the reps that I did of each. In my honest opinion, what this warm-up lacks in preparing your body for the mobility demands that you'll need to be able to put your body in better positions during the bulk of your work inside the routine itself, it makes up for in its ability to really do what good warm-ups are defined to be able to do. It gives you a good pump, it increases your core temperature, activates a solid number of muscle fibers surrounding your body's main joints of movement, and does so in the simplest way possible. Is it the best and most in-depth warm-up out there? Absolutely not. I think for the vast majority of men out there who are nowhere near as conditioned as Joe Rogan clearly is, it's a bit overkill and could even lead to deterioration in the quality of your core lifts afterwards because of the fatigue that you might experience getting through it. But it definitely achieves its objective. Now let's move on to the next phase of his workout, Nordic curl straight sets. Before we get moving forward on this, big shout out to the Nordic Curl Pro that the tib bar guy hooked me up with to be able to do these bad boys. I'll add the link below so you can grab one if your heart desires. Killer piece of equipment. Now, I will say this about Nordic curls. It is worth noting that I do believe this phase is very specific to Joe trying to maybe prioritize a perceived weakness that he particularly wants to improve upon within his own routines. So, because of how physically demanding this particular movement is, I really like that he places it after his warm-up and before his main lifts. This allows him to be relatively fresh when doing them and also further activate the muscle groups that helps improve hip extension during his main lifts of the day, which for him are typically going to be total body movements that force synergy between lower and upper body. Because the Nordic curl is an extremely difficult movement to execute, what I would do as a regression to replace them and be able to work up to them is either do, let's say, a traditional glute ham raise on a glute ham raise device, or simply doing single or double leg stability ball curls. Now, let's move on to the next phase of his daily workout. Okay, so after the push-ups, the squats, and the Nordic curls, we're gonna move on to his actual lifting phase, which based on interviews I've watched and listened to follows much of the same philosophy that I follow. Multi-joint movements done in a heavy, low volume, balanced, and high intensity circuit manner. From what I've gathered, Joe seems to be very in tune with the idea that he wants his training not just to help improve his strength and endurance, but ultimately do so to help him be more functional and their ability to help him move more synergistically and powerfully for the sport that he trains for, combat sports, striking and grappling. And that's why I believe he finds kettlebell training above many other forms of training like this that forces your entire body to work in order to execute the task, much like you'd have to do in combat sports, to be his training sweet spot. Honestly, this phase of his training on a daily basis would be enough to get the job done for, I'd say, 99% of guys out there. But because Joe is an absolute horse with a seemingly bottomless gas tank, the fun continues after this phase of his training. Next up is his body weight and focused core work. For this, I strung together in the balanced and high intensity fashion that both he and I like, a push-pull hinge circuit that taxes the hell out of the muscles surrounding the shoulder girdle as well as your core, both of which for Joe play a huge role in his striking. For the push, we have a simple dips complex, doing pause dips, pausing for 3 seconds at the bottom, followed by exploding up to a powerful lockout, which hits obviously chest, shoulders, triceps, and your core to stabilize your spine. So after 5 reps of those pauses, we have 5 regular reps done as explosively as possible. Then we have the almighty sucky but killer L pause pull-ups. We've got 5 reps there, and then we're gonna cap it all off with a hinge core-based movement, which is going to be the single kettlebell, or it's just an overall kettlebell windmill. These, if you've never done them, are taxing, but they are killer for overall improvement of core strength as well as strength and stability surrounding your shoulder girdle, all of which will help tremendously improve his quality of striking as well as overall movement, given the fact that everything requires you to have a powerful and strong core to stabilize your spine during all movement. Now, let's move on to the next phase of his daily training. Okay, next up, we've got some more combat sports specific training that many of us probably don't need as much as Joe might, given the fact that the majority of us aren't grappling or sparring like he does, and that's gonna be neck and trap training. Now, I don't have one of those cool neck rotation implements like I see him hooked up to the cables with, but that doesn't mean you can't still do some solid neck and traps work. So what we're gonna do instead is simple body weight neck raises with added pauses on a bench. When it comes to neck training, you have to look at the movements your neck muscles are primarily responsible for and then execute them under load, which that load is simply the weight of our head. That means doing flexion, extension, rotation, and lateral flexion. In this routine, we'll just keep it simple by sticking with flexion and extension when it comes to our neck, and then finish things up with a farmer's walk to round things off and help build a big, strong neck and upper back, which ultimately for him allows for better force absorption when eating shots to the noggin, as well as bridging when on the ground during a grappling or a wrestling session. Okay, so after our neck and traps training phase, we have more bodyweight work that again helps to improve extension of hips while maintaining a strong core and neutral spine. Big concept for you to grasp there. In this case, a simple back extension to reverse hyper superset. Now, I don't have a Louis Simmons reverse hyper, but to be honest, I can't imagine the vast majority of you out there have one either. So instead of that, I just did a bodyweight partial reverse hyper extension with a slight pause at the top, which really just focuses on extending time under tension on your spinal erectors and core after the back extensions are done. Ultimately, this complex, this superset is a great one for anyone looking to really develop a stronger and more pain-free back. You should definitely add this, if not during this phase of your workout, definitely as maybe either a finisher or even in the beginning of your workout to really kind of get your core, back, and hips working to really improve the quality of your lifts during, let's say, a deadlift or squat session. Just make sure when doing them, you really focus on doing 2 main things here. Focus on good quality core tension throughout your midsection and also improved quality extension of your hips, which is activated by both your glutes and hamstrings. Tight core, powerful contraction of glute and hamstrings, and that is your ticket to really nailing both the reverse hyper as well as the typical back extension movement. And to cap off all the training side of things, Joe mentions he's a big proponent of doing Tabata sets on his Airdyne bike. Now, because I don't have an Airdyne bike, I think the next best thing to improve VO2 max in a total body manner is a Concept 2 rotor. You want to talk about a finisher, Tabata sets, which if you don't know are 8 rounds of 20 seconds all out followed by 10 seconds of rest, are a hell of a workout in and of themselves. But doing them after all the work that we've done previously, that's all like that's a different level of suck. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Bottom line, if you're looking to end things with a bang on any workout, a Tabata session is going to be one hell of a way to do so. Now, after this marathon training session, which if you're not dicking around with your rest periods, should take about an hour or so, your body is going to be stressed to the max and in desperate need of quality recovery tactics. Joe seems to be a big advocate of doing both sauna sessions and cold plunges, which are both solid options to speed up recovery in conjunction with quality sleep and nutrition. But what I have found to work pretty well too, especially on a tighter time budget like many of us are faced with, is doing what's called contrast baths. To do these, you'll need a hot water and a cold water source. I just use my shower as well as my pool, which at this time of year is pretty cold, and alternate between doing probably 3 minutes of hot water treatment followed by a minute of cold water treatment. And what this alternating series of hydrotherapies does is essentially reduces inflammation while improving circulation of nutrient-rich blood to the damaged muscle fibers that are damaged because of your working out. So as long as you're following a quality nutrition plan, you should be able to provide for optimal recovery speeds after you've put your body through the gauntlet inside the gym. So there you have it, a sampling of Joe Rogan's workout. Overall, seems to be quite effective for the goals that Joe Rogan seems to have. Maybe not doable for many of us out there working on a tighter time budget, but maybe something you can draw a little bit of inspiration or ideas from coming from someone that really is a pretty awe-inspiring individual. Anyway, let me know what you think about this workout down below, and if you'd like for me to review some other popular workouts from other popular figures in all media outlets. If you dig it, maybe I'll start adding a little bit more of these types of videos in moving forward. Ultimately, it's all about what you guys want and how I can help you accomplish your goals. So if you dig it, let me know by saying yes or no down below. Hey guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and want more of the same, then do me a solid by hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the videos I upload here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're looking for a more in-depth view of exactly how I program for all of my clients as well as myself who are short on time yet hungry for some serious aesthetics and performance-based gains, then start by grabbing your free copy of the Kettlebell Cardio Blueprint I put together for you by clicking on either the book image that you see right over there to the right or the pin link at the top of the comment section down below. This free guide has a week's worth of my sub 10-minute home workouts, my top 10 rules for losing fat without losing size or strength, and my plug and chug workout builder to help you design fast and effective routines for you to do at home. So to grab it for free, just click over there or in the pin link down there and I will take you immediately to the download page so you can access it right now. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. MANdler out.